What's up, guys? My name's William Rockin' Ryan, and wait, hold on. Oh shoot, sorry, I'm just noticing on my computer screen that my hair is Let me look at. Yeah, my hair is not exactly pretty messy right now, and whoa, hold on. I'm not even wearing the right shirt. Hold on a sec. Shazam! Okay, whew. This is at least a bit better. Yeah, I know it's a t-shirt of the Flash, and talking about the Flash movie at this point is kind of cursed at this rate. So, but shut up, okay? This is the only DC shirt I could find in my closet that's available to me that has at least some kind of remote resemblance to Shazam, especially with the lightning bolt that's on my shirt right here. And plus, my Batman shirt's in the wash, and my black Superman shirt. I don't think it would be as befitting as this red DC shirt that I have here with a lightning bolt on it. But this is in no way, shape, or form going to be anything that's going to jinx this Shazam movie. You know, I will not bring up the Flash ever again for the rest of this video. But yeah, hey, at least it's DC. You know, at least it's a DC shirt. I don't know if you can see the DC tag on the shirt right here. But anyways, on to the actual review. So Shazam! Fury of the Gods is the sequel to the 2019 movie Shazam that was 4 years ago now. So yeah, 4 years after the first film, and that's a pretty long gap if you ask me, which is directed again by returning director of from the first film, David F. Sandberg, and Zachary, Levi, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer return for this film, as well as newcomers Rachel Zegler, Helen, Mirren, and Lucy Liu, who played goddesses. 2 years after the first film, Billy is now comfortably living with his foster family, whilst at the same time away from their foster parents, in secret, now all work together as a team to fight crime as the new Shazam family, after acquiring powers from the first film. However, due to the events of the first film, of them getting powers, now threats, in the form of 3 goddesses, played by Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler, as I mentioned, emerge, and it is up to the Shazam family now to stop them from destroying the world. So going back to my most anticipated movies of 2023 video, which, still has less than 100 views right now, so yeah, it really goes to show what kinds of videos do well on my channel right now. But anyways, going back to that film, I said it was my most anticipated film of March, with Shazam! Fury of the Gods. You know, I love the first Shazam film like it was yesterday, especially with how we got a lighter DC film for a change that's specifically targeted towards a younger audience, particularly kids and families, and due to the nature of its tone, its plot revolves around the idea of heroes who are literally kids. Well, to be honest, they're not really kids anymore at this age right now. Again, it's been like 4 years after the first film, so yeah, they've aged 4 years, which now they're like in their adolescent years right now. But this is what makes it special and distinguishes it from other darker and more serious DC films that most people are used to. So this is why I was excitedly curious to see how they will continue from that idea, as well as for what new things that were going to be in store for us with this film. So I went to see this film this past weekend with my friends, and we all had an absolute blast watching this movie. You know, for the most part, it was just super hilarious and absolutely funny. Yeah, like, the comedy really hits. It really lands. It's definitely better than, like, Marvel-style humor nowadays, especially with Ant-Man and the Lost Quantumania. Although that film was, like, still not really funny, but more of the jokes land in this film than Ant-Man and the Lost Quantumania. Yeah, a lot of the jokes were actually really funny, and there were plenty of laugh-out-loud moments that we would just burst out laughing. There were like 4 to 5 moments in the film where we just burst out laughing. It was just really funny.
Look, I might not have as much experience as you, because I'm not super old like you, but I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies, lady. It's all about family! Family! Guys, that was a signal!
But yeah, this movie, it shows us the continuing dynamic between Billy and his foster family, and now that the rest of the kids in the foster family have become superheroes as well, adding to the mix. Hence now the Shazam family, which is what I wanted to see, and we got that. So I'm really glad that we did. You know, just more interactions between them rather than just Billy going solo, which is why I love the chemistry between the cast and the characters. Especially with new member to the cast, Rachel Zegler, who I think she was a great addition to this new world of superheroes. Yeah, she's 2 for 2 right now. You know, after West Side Story, she's got such a huge potential and, you know, a long future ahead of her. You know, she's going strong right now. you can tell and feel that they are all one big family on screen and off screen, and that's what you want to see in the film. You want to see a film with great chemistry between the cast and characters, and therefore not only you can relate to them, but yeah, you can just engage with them as well. So yeah, really glad to see that continue off from the first film. But it's actually more darker. It's a more darker film than the last one this time around. Well, with what they could do with a PG-13 rating movie at least. But the lengths they go to with this one, it kind of reminded me of the good old Disney days, where they were still able to get pretty dark in places, even for a G-rated film. And I don't want to put any Disney related videos here, otherwise my video will get categorized as for being kids. So yeah, just stating that now. But it shows that it clearly still is a DC film and takes place in that same dark universe, except with a lighter tone, which this film still keeps keeps that consistent in general. The film, like the last one, doesn't take itself very seriously. Well, and it's still its own things and separate away from the rest of the core DCEU. Well, there is one major connection that it has with another being within this universe, and which I will not reveal that spoiler. You're gonna have to watch it for yourself to know. And it's probably the biggest spoiler of the movie. And depending on how much you've been following the promos and stuff, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about once you go to see it. I'm just glad that we just got another entertaining superhero movie that literally all ages can enjoy. I liked it for what it was and thought overall it was a pretty good and solid sequel and a befitting continuation of this story of the Shazam characters.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
Although, even though I thought that Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu did a good job of bringing out the power and threat of their characters, sometimes I felt unconvinced or just found it hard to kind of take seriously of the fact that Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu were playing these, god characters who are not joking around or quipping around whatsoever. And what I mean by that is that, in a film like this where it's supposed to be a comedy, and that it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's supposed to be family friendly, I therefore find it that I don't have to take them too seriously either. And even though there were some pretty dark moments from them, which again I will not reveal because of spoilers, but yeah, the moments that they had were just really, really dark, even for a family-oriented film, which I do appreciate them bringing out with their characters. However, moving on to the downsides of this movie, I think one of the things that let me down the most for me was we didn't get that much of Billy and Freddy in scenes in this movie this time around, which is what I loved from the first film. Their chemistry and relationship is one of the major things that elevated and was one of the highlights of the last film for me. It was the soul and heart of the first film, which this film lacked, and therefore I feel that the parts of this film sort of lost the heart of what was that it had from the first film. A kid being a fan of these superheroes, which is Freddy, and trying to get his new friend, aka or slash his foster brother in this case, which is Billy, into superheroes, and therefore being the mentor to the said main lead superhero too, which is a role reversal in a way. So that was a very unique thing, and this time even though it is a sequel, so I understand why it delves away from that. But yeah, kind of a bit a letdown to see, Billy and Freddy not get that much screen time together this time around. It's kind of reduced. There were also some plot elements in there that I think weren't really developed really well, or they tried to develop them, but either realized that they didn't have enough time to fit them in, and they had to focus on other plot lines and character arcs, or they just didn't organize or structure those plot elements well enough for us to care for them more. Like, for instance, with Mary Bromfield and Eugene Choi, who are played by Grace Curry and Ian Chen in the movie, and from the past film as well. There were hints as to some continuing character arcs with them, but I feel like they were kind of underdeveloped and not much time was given towards them. I feel like those two from the Shazam family are pretty much two of the most underrated heroes of the Shazam family, and I just really wanted to see more of them. And, we got some scenes of them. They were more involved with the Shazam family, but I just wanted to see more. That's pretty much it. Because I think some of the other members of the Shazam family got more screen time than them. Some of the jokes in this movie didn't really land for me. And there was one particular one that my friends and I all just found to be really dumb and cringy. You may or may not know once you go see it. But yeah, once we heard that joke, we were like, oh my god. Or like some of us were just laughing in stupidity. But I think the main problem with this film for me, I think, in my mind, is that since this film was made at a time before all this merger stuff even happened, or when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over, therefore this was definitely a movie that I think feels a bit out of place, given all the stuff that happened at Warner Bros. Discovery, but would work better if it had been released at an earlier time, as it was filmed way before then too. Plus the two credit scenes for me, which were the most confusing scenes I've seen, as post credits or mid credits in the movie. With the first one, like, with the first, I will not say what they are, but my only comments are, will the first one even mean anything in the future? And the second one was just completely pointless. I mean, in this film, I know a lot of people are expecting like a Black Adam connection, since the two movies are very kind of close together in terms of release. But yeah, there wasn't really much, to be honest. Yeah, not a lot. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed that, despite being so close together, they had little or nothing to do with each other, which was really surprising for me. The film, even though it has a solid story and remains focused, it does contain some teasers or hints as to where it will go if it continues on. But why I'm even saying this is, it's making me ask myself, will this movie even mean anything? Now that we know, or most of us know, and that because news has circulated throughout most media by now, that of James Gunn and Peter Safran's plans to basically restart the entire DCEU franchise after the merging of Warner Bros. And Discovery, will any of this essentially even matter or even lead into anything in particular in this franchise's foreseeable future? Which is to say that the film doesn't really have any that much high at all stakes. Well, not completely though. Certainly it has higher stakes more than the last film, and certainly an even higher level of threat now that they're facing against gods like themselves. So this was, yeah, and therefore this was bigger than the last film. This just Fury of the Gods is bigger than the last one. And the ending of the final battle and climax certainly caught me off guard that they went for that. That I wasn't willing to accept that moment happened. But knowing what kind of movie this was, I wasn't really surprised that they wouldn't go even that far either. You know what I'm talking about once you go see it. But yeah, not much stakes in. But when I say stakes, I mean not much stakes in counting towards the future of the DCEU. Like, not really any big ramifications from this film, leading to other films. But even though I do partly understand, it's not only being its own thing, which but this was made before the whole merger happened, so over time I can honestly probably forgive this movie for coming out at this time. But overall, I still had a massively fun time with this movie. It's the funniest movie for me this year. And yes, even funnier than White Powdered Bear. And even though some of the jokes didn't land, there were a lot of laugh out loud moments that me and my friends had, and we had a good time watching it. Had a good time just laughing at a lot of the moments. And I love the continuing dynamic and chemistry between the characters and cast. It's darker, but still maintains that consistent, lighthearted tone. But I feel like this movie also lost some of the heart that it had from the last film, specifically between Billy and Freddy. There were ideas that this movie had, but were all kind of all over the place at times. And the fact that this film's placement is during a time when we know what the future of this franchise holds really begs the question, at least for me personally, that this movie's meaning or valid reason for being here other than to entertain us or make us laugh and feel just like a family watching it, which I still highly respect from them, by the way, but yeah, it begs us to ask those kinds of things, as well as its future. I really don't mean to sound harsh, but I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 and a B+. Now I know what you're thinking. With Shazam Fury of the Gods, I'd given this movie a 6.5 out of 10. But yet with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, a movie that I think is way worse than this one, yeah, I think I may need to go back to that Ant-Man and Wasp movie eventually. Whether I decide to make like a spoiler review video for this channel in the future, I think I may need to go back and rescore Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because now that I think back to it from some of the moments from that movie, there are a lot more moments now from that movie that I just don't like anymore. And I also just found out from not only from the director David F. Sandberg, but also from the original release schedules for the movie, because the schedules for the release of this movie kept changing, that this was supposed to be after the Flash movie originally.
will not bring up the Flash ever again for the rest of this video.
Shut up! But it would kind of explain the first post-credit scene, as well as, you know, Mary Marvel changing faces, by the way. But, you know, I don't know. Who's to say? You know, the rest of the DCEU, they're just releasing the last few films until they reboot it at this point. So, yeah, I just gonna have to, you know, get those over with until we get the official start of the reboot DCEU in the future. But anyways, that's gonna do for my Shazam Fury of the Gods non-spoiler review. And if you like this, you can leave a thumbs up because that will help out a ton. And let me know what you think of this film if you have seen it, or if you decide. Let me know whether you're gonna see it or you do not want to see it. I really want to know why, regardless. But if you have seen it, what do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below as well. And where you rank it? Where'd you rank it in terms of the rest of the DCEU films? Or if you think this was better or worse than the first film. But anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Rhinos, roll out. And of course, Shazam!